In the sprawling Darfur region of Sudan, researchers at Yale University's Humanitarian Research Lab have captured something profoundly disturbing. Evidence of mass graves following the Rapid Support Forces seizure of El-Fasher on October 26, 2025. Remember, earlier the satellite imagery has also captured and revealed door-to-door killings, mass graves being dug and later covered over, blood-stained terrain and bodies visible along earthen berms. But the real horror lies in what these images confirm: the systematic, ethnically targeted extermination of civilians by the paramilitary group that has now agreed to a humanitarian ceasefire. What happened in El-Fasher is nothing short of a genocide. After an 18-month siege that ravaged the city through starvation and constant bombardment, the RSF swept through on October 26 and unleashed hell. In fact, survivors described house-to-house massacres where RSF fighters methodically executed men, women and also children. Now the Sudanese government estimates at least 2,000 dead in the recent times, though eyewitnesses suggest the toll is far higher. The World Health Organization reports over 450 individuals were killed at just Saudi hospital alone, while the RSF cold-bloodedly killed everyone they encountered. Sexual violence was also rampant. In fact, the killings were systematic and ethnically motivated. In fact, this, as per the reports from Sudan War Monitor. The RSF forces had planned in advance to target specific non-Arab ethnic groups. Well, this wasn't combat or a front against government, it was butchery. The International Criminal Court has already sounded the alarm. In November 2025, the ICC's Office of Prosecutor expressed profound alarm over reports of mass killings, rapes and crimes allegedly committed by the RSF, warning that these acts may constitute war crimes and crimes against humanity under the Rome Statute. This pattern of violence is part of a broader systematic campaign across Darfur since the beginning of the conflict in April 2023. And now, just days after orchestrating one of the most horrific massacres in recent memory, the RSF announced their acceptance of a so-called humanitarian ceasefire proposed by the United States, Saudi Arabia, Egypt and the UAE on November 6, 2025. But the timing couldn't be more cynical. This ceasefire is a pure theatre, a calculated move to buy time, consolidate their territorial gains and evade accountability. Consider what the RSF gets. They get legitimacy. By sitting at the negotiation table, they transform from warlords and mass murderers into stakeholders in Sudan's political future. They consolidate control over El-Fasher and Darfur. They buy breathing room while the international community congratulates itself on a big breakthrough, or in fact what we can call it, a so-called breakthrough. Meanwhile, where is accountability? The Sudanese government correctly called for the RSF leaders to face international courts. But a humanitarian ceasefire isn't justice. It's forgetting the wrongdoings by a fresh coat of a diplomatic paint. The RSF's agreement to this ceasefire is not a change of heart. It's a calculated tactical retreat, a pause button on a genocide that has already claimed reportedly over 150,000 lives and displaced more than 12 million people since April 2023. Well, the tragedy of this crisis is that the world watches mass graves being dug from the space, well, acknowledge them, and then negotiate with their architects. Until the RSF faces real consequences for El-Fasher, every ceasefire agreement is just another chapter in an endless story of impunity.